Hey my friends, James Jordan here coming to you live today. As you can see, this is a little bit different than what we've been doing over the course of the first 3 days inside of the success formula. So what I'm going to be doing today is I'm really going to be breaking down the second C inside of the success formula. You know, so far we've gone through so many different things, you know, as far as what you need in order to be able to acquire the success that you're looking for in your life and in your business. And when you start applying these concepts, right, when you really start applying these concepts on a daily basis to your life, what happens is you start moving forward, you start breaking through barriers, you start breaking through self-limiting beliefs, right? And what happens is the magic starts to happen. You start to go out, you start to have success in your business, you start to have success in your personal relationships and all these different things. And what you'll come to find is that it's easier to be successful than it is to be a failure. It's actually pretty hard to fail. You have to resist a lot in order to fail, okay? In order to not live your dreams, in order to not live a life fulfilled, you really have to resist a lot. You have to resist when it comes to relationships with people. You have to resist when it comes to connections. You have to resist when it comes to, you know, you getting insight from your inner self as far as what you're supposed to do next in order to take action. Because our intuition, you know, and our gifts that God has blessed us with allows us to be able to go out and achieve our dreams and our goals at a much faster pace and a much faster speed than we can actually fathom or even process in our minds. But what happens is we resist, and that causes you to procrastinate, and, you know, it causes you to create self-limiting beliefs within yourself and whatnot. And I'm going to show you, you know, the second C inside the success formula right now. I'm going to break it down for you, and I'm going to show you how you can use it and apply it in your business and even apply it in your life and what will happen from it. So let me erase this, okay? So what does the second C inside of the success formula stand for? Well, it stands for charity. Charity, right? Now, how can you apply charity in your business, right? Well, if you follow Jim Rohn, and if you don't know who Jim Rohn is, I highly suggest that you really go and Google his name, Jim Rohn. That's Jimrohn, right? Go look at a couple of his videos, go look at a couple of his trainings, because he is one of the biggest personal development gurus inside of personal development and network marketing especially. So if you've been in network marketing for more than 30 days and you don't know who Jim Rohn is, you probably haven't been really applying a lot of time towards your business, and you got to rededicate yourself. But when it applies to charity, what does this really mean? Well, if you watch any of my videos before in the past, I'm always telling you to give value, right? To share what you know about marketing, or share your experiences, your life stories, your failures, your triumphs in any area, because what happens is it helps create a bond with your prospects, right? And on top of that, you're giving value. You're sharing some high quality information that they can use, that they can go out and apply in their life and in their business. I mean, that's what I do all the time, and it allows me to build a business while having a life, to go out and make money over the internet when I'm out at the beach, or I'm hanging out with my kids, or I'm hanging out with my friends, and having $500 days, $300 days, $1,000 days in my business. And honestly, the less I work in my business, the more money I make, which is a paradigm shift that all of you watching this video need to have and need to understand, is that your results when it comes to you as an entrepreneur is not going to necessarily revert to how much time you put into things. You see, that was a huge shift in mindset that really allowed me to go from, you know, struggling in my business, not making any money, constantly pouring out money for my auto ship, or, you know, different marketing programs and different tools and softwares and plugins and all this stuff, right? And then I became inner focused on myself and dedicating myself to becoming a student, right? A real hard, hungry, masterful student, right? In this game where I can learn and process as much information as I possibly can, as fast as I can, so I can give it to the marketplace, give it to you, share it with other people. Because that is ultimately how you go out and get results. The more value that you bring to the marketplace, the more money you can make, the more you can command for an hour. I remember when I first started doing consulting and coaching and whatnot, you know, I was making about $100 an hour, right? And then what happened is I increased my value, so I increased my price to 125 bucks an hour, right? Now, for those of you right now, you probably have a regular job. You might make anywhere between $10 to, let's say 50 bucks on the high end for most jobs, right? So, but I can command $125, right? So, I was thinking, I used to remember when I was working for a Fortune 500 company. I'm not going to name them because I don't want them to come after me or anything. I was making $13.50 an hour, okay? Plus commissions. After a full 30 days, right? So when I sat there, I looked at my paycheck, after a week, it would come out to a little over 500 bucks, right? So $500 is what I would make in a week at that job. This is what happened. When I increased my value, I was able to command in the marketplace for people to hire me as a coach for an hour of my time, $125. Now, what did I do after that? You see, I'm always a student. I'm always learning marketing. I'm always learning training. I'm always going out and implementing new things in my business. And what happened was I doubled my price. So now, right, at this time, I was making 250 bucks an hour for one-on-one mentorship, for one-on-one coaching, for me to sit there and, help and share my information and my knowledge and my value with what I knew about marketing. Because to be honest with you, if someone spends an hour with me, they know how to go out and make at least 10 times that, right? Just for 60 minutes. 60 minutes of me giving you hard quality information where I'm teaching you different things that I've learned over the course of the past 6 years that I've been in this industry, the past 6 years where I've put in my blood, my sweat, my tears, right? Where I've gone through so many different life experiences in personal life and even in business. How I've connected with a whole bunch of different people inside the industry that were either, 8-figure earners, 7-figure earners, multiple 6-figure earners, and I plugged in and, downloaded all the information that they had told me. And then I actually went out and started taking action on the things that I was learning, right? So this was totally justified in my opinion, and people verified that justification by paying me that. So what happened after that, right? Well, the only way that you can go is up, right? Because you can choose to go down, you can choose to devalue yourself, or you can choose to continue accelerating upwards, right? So what did I do? Well, I went out and started to learn more, right? I started to plug into more training, more knowledge, doing more things, right? Going out and getting bigger and better and greater results to where now, currently for one-on-one consulting, I charge 500 bucks an hour. My question to you is, how long does it take you to make 500 bucks, right? Now, why am I charging 500 bucks an hour? Well, think about it. I have value. I have put a number on my value when it comes to someone actually spending time with me. You see, when you start to get skilled and you start to understand the game and you start to understand that you have value, you can put a price on your value, right? See, you're accustomed to someone else putting value on your time because of the whole entire job mentality and how it's structured. You can't go to your boss and say, hey, start paying me 500 bucks an hour. You want to know why? Because that job itself isn't worth $500 an hour. No matter how hard you work, no matter what you do, no matter how skilled you become in that job, it's not worth 500 bucks an hour, right? But if you go out and you increase your value, you go out and learn a skill set that people want to go out and master, but they haven't had the audacity to take the action that you have, you can give them insight and foresight as far as what's going to work and what's not going to work, and you can charge a premium, right? This used to take me an entire week to make, working 40 hours a week in retail, having to work on Sundays instead of going to church. And I love going to church. I love going to church, right? So I would have to be at work at a job that I didn't really want to be at because I had to work on Sunday because I was the newest guy. That whole corporate mentality about, if you're the you're the youngest, or you're the newest guy, you're the lowest guy on the totem pole, regardless of the type of results that you were getting, right? Absolutely frustrating. I couldn't stand it. So what did I do out of that frustration and that pain? Well, I went out and learned as much as I possibly could so I can give people valuable content, right? And off of that content, I displayed my value, so then people sit there and they understand that, oh wait, this guy is an expert. He knows what he's talking about. He has results. He knows how to go out and get thousands upon thousands of visitors in a single day. He knows how to go out and generate 100+ leads in a day. He knows how to go out and have $500 days. He knows how to go out and have $1,000 days in his business, right? That's a guy I want to learn from. So it's absolutely justified when someone sits there and makes a decision to pay me $500 an hour, because they're going to make more than that if they implement what I share with them, right? You have to understand, it's the value. It's the value of it. I mean, think about this. Would you pay a multimillionaire $500 for an hour of his time? Think about that. And if your first answer isn't a yes, you really need to reevaluate the way that you think. You need to go out and read a couple books on personal development. Think and Grow Rich is one of them that I honestly would recommend, right? And you really just need to evaluate yourself, because that's what I did when I was about 22. No, was I? I was 20. I was 20 years old. I was broke. I had no job, right? No job, just over broke. I had no source of income at the time. Now, what I did was I found a way to get $2,000, right, to hire a multimillionaire as a coach, which in other words, $500 an hour, because I paid for 4 hours of his time. Quick question, do you guys think that was valuable? Absolutely. When you can talk to someone who's made, 10 million, 20 million, over $30 million, right? And you have a full hour of their time. You can talk to them about personal development, you can talk to them about mindset, you can talk to them about the practical business stuff, about exactly how they did it, how they were able to go out and achieve those goals and those results. Don't you think that's pretty valuable? Yeah, so did I, even as a 20-year-old kid. So for those of you right now that have the mindset of, oh, that's too expensive, that's what I make in a week, right? Or it takes me 2 weeks to make $500 or whatever, right? I had no money at the time. I was broke. I was actually close to being homeless at the time, right? But thank God, I was able to find a place to stay with a room, and, I was able to spend some time with myself and get myself back together, right? But this was absolutely valuable. It was absolutely valuable. And you want to know the most valuable thing that I learned from spending $2,000 to hire a multimillionaire as a coach? Right? It's that your vulnerability, right, is your greatest asset. Your vulnerability is your greatest asset. You see, people are so scared to share their stories. They're so scared to talk about themselves, and it really hurts you, right? Because people are looking for connections, right? People aren't looking for a business. They're not necessarily, they're looking for an opportunity, but they're not just looking for a business, right? They're looking to connect with someone. Because here's the reality, no matter what type of network marketing company you get into, no matter what type of affiliate program that you get into, there's probably at least a couple thousand other people that market the same thing. So how do you differentiate yourself from the marketplace? Because that's the only way that you're going to go out and have success, is by differentiating yourself from everyone else. A big key to that is being vulnerable. A big key to that is sharing your story. A big key to that is going out and understanding that, hey, I don't know everything, so I'm going to go out, I'm going to hire coaches, I'm going to buy resources, I'm going to get training, I'm going to go out and buy every single possible book that I can as fast as I can and learn as much as I can so I can go out and implement these things and go out and make money. Because that's what I did. If you talk to any other successful person over the internet, offline, in network marketing, in real estate, in stocks, in whatever type of industry, what you'll find is that they went out and studied. They went out and investigated the successful people in that particular industry. They connected with successful people in that industry. They probably ended up hiring someone as a coach or a consultant at some point in time, right? Or they worked with them or worked for them, you know, in whatever capacity. They got themselves around successful people in the areas that they wanted to have success in. And that's what you have to do, right? You absolutely have to do that. So back to charity, right? How do you give charity in your business? How do you give charity in your life? Well, of course, you could go donate to Red Cross or donate to any type of cause that you want to as far as a personal level. But when it comes to business, right? How do you give charity? How do you give charity to a point where it can create success? Because we're told, you know, to just get people to sign up in our deal, right? But how do you become attractive? How do you become attractive over the internet? How do you become attractive offline? How do you just become attractive to the point where you can attract the very people that you're looking to have in your business? High quality leaders or developing leaders that are looking to take massive action to go out and create results. How do you attract those sort of people? Well, you give them value up front. You display your knowledge and your value in an automated fashion. That way they can see you whether or not you're working. That's what I do. So give value. Go out and learn something. It's simple, right? We'll sit here and try and overcomplicate things, and honestly, the simpler your life becomes, the more money you make. That's the one thing that I've personally seen in my life and in my business. So you go out and learn something. You get a skill set. You get a skill set. Once you have a skill set, what can you do? You can charge for that skill set. You can recommend different products and programs and business opportunities for people to sign up in to work with you because of your skill set. You go out and you learn something. You go out and master video marketing. You go out and learn Facebook pay-per-click. You go out and learn how to market on Facebook for free and go out and get results, right? You go out and learn how to write good email copy. And you go out and do it, and you display that value. And you just share some information. It's so simple. It is so simple over the internet to make money online. It's not even funny. This is honestly the simplest, easiest way I could tell you. You go out and get value. Right? And the only way you can get value is by going out and increasing your value, like we were talking about earlier in the video. And you go out and learn something. Once you've learned it, you do it, right? Once you've learned it, you do it. This right here is key. Because most people, what they do is they go into complete student mode where they will learn and learn and learn and learn and learn and learn and learn. I've done it myself, so don't sit here and think that, you know, I'm talking all high and mighty. I'm coming to you very humbly and admitting the fact that I've done this in my business myself. But when I decided to do this, right, when I decided to, as soon as I learned something, I'm going to go out and use it, I went out and started getting results, right? And what happens when you get results? You make money, right? It's very simple. This is where money comes from. It doesn't come from your time. It comes from your results. That is where money comes from. That is how you create leverage online. That is how you have a business while having a life. It comes from getting results. Getting results. So you learn something. You do it. You get results, you share. You share what you've learned. You don't need to tell them all the nuts and bolts because that doesn't matter. Just share your marketing strategy, right? Share what is working for you. Don't give them all the information all in one shot, right? You display the fact that this is where I've been marketing, or this is what I've been doing to go out and get results. And if you want to work with me to learn exactly how I put this information together, right? Get started in my business opportunity. Get started in my affiliate program.